Light, you know what time it is. Time for NBA Countdown live from the Seaport District at Pier 17, brought to you by Heineken. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Pierce, Uncle Pierce. In the building.
We got the tour four.
Listen, I'm happy to be here, but these conditions is harsh. I have my own table, my own desk, studio in L.A. I mean, y'all grinding out here. I appreciate
Mina done spoiled you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Maria's Palace.
It's hard for me to get used to these conditions.
Sorry, Studio 34 is officially closed. The NBA Countdown family's together for the rest of the playoffs. Maria Taylor, Jalen Rose still here looking crispy. Jay Will looking like everybody's little brother.
That's getting better.
Hey,
we're incrementally getting better over time, Maria. I like this. You look incredible today. Thank you.
Thank you.
CJ Rose, I'm learning.
Yes, indeed. Good job. Good job.
Okay, guys, let's jump right into it because we all learned today that voting matters. Me especially.
I like what you did there.
You see that? Okay, let's shift away from the playoffs for a second and talk about Giannis and LeBron because you've probably all heard the conversation and the sound from LBJ. Lifting from the playoffs, Giannis is the MVP for the second straight season. He became the third player to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, which he is able to join Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. But obviously, there were conversations about that MVP race. Remember, all of the voting was based on play that happened before March 11th. Giannis easily won. He received 85 first-place votes and over 200 total points more than LeBron. As for James, he had 16 first-place ballots, which made him talk about it after the Lakers' Game 1 win. Here's LeBron.
Pissed me off. That's my true answer. It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. You know, not saying that the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP, but that pissed me off. I finished second a lot in my career, either from a championship and now 4 times as an MVP. It's a weird thing sometimes that. I don't know how much we are really watching the game of basketball, or are we just in the narration mode, the narrative. There's another headline to be tomorrow.
Headline tomorrow and Saturday. It's going to be every single day we're talking about it. The headline was LeBron is pissed, and he's talking about those 16 first-place votes. I think the conversation starts with what do we consider MVPs? It's evolved over time.
So I'm a voter. I'm going to own that I voted for Giannis, and I have no regrets, Maria. He had the best PER in the history of the NBA. They had the #1 record in the NBA. He was terrific the entire season. And for a guy that's lifting the Milwaukee Bucks as their superstar, he doesn't have an Anthony Davis to play with. And so for him to lead his team in all of those major statistical categories and accomplish what he accomplished, he deserved the regular season MVP. The problem, NBA, you do us a disservice as voters and as players when you don't give out the award right after the season.
Yeah.
If you give it out right after the season, we was there. We was in LA.
Yeah, we saw it.
We saw Giannis get hurt. LeBron was gaining steam, but that night when we were in LA before it shut down and the Lakers beat the Clippers, Giannis was the MVP.
Right.
And that's what we were voting.
I just get frustrated because it seems like each and every year it's a moving target, right? It's so fluid each and every year. So, what we didn't play is the clip before that in 2012, 2013, LeBron James was probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP of the league, right? He won MVP. You know who won Defensive Player of the Year that year? Marc Gasol. Guess what? Marc Gasol was second team all-defensive in the league. He was second team all-defensive, but yet he won Defensive Player of the Year. How does that work, right? So the moving targets about that goes back to what you were saying, J. Rose. At least just be consistent each and every year. And that's what LeBron James was talking about.
Well, the thing is, what LeBron has to understand, and he's been the best player, over the last, 15, 16 years or however long he's been in the league. But the best player doesn't always get the MVP. We all know that. It goes on, team, statistics. What do you mean to your team? LeBron, he means a lot to his team, clearly. But if you take LeBron off that team, I still believe the Lakers are a playoff team. If you take Giannis off the Bucks, they don't sniff the playoffs. I mean, we saw how Miami did them with Giannis. And so, yeah, LeBron may go on, but I'm gonna tell you this: LeBron he's using this for motivation. He don't care about no regular season MVP. He care about one MVP. That's the Finals MVP right now.
Champion.
Are we sure about that? Are we sure if we took LeBron off the Lakers would definitely make the playoffs in the West?
Well,
AD
it depends on what
is
you
good
think
enough.
about AD. It depends on what you think about AD.
I'm just saying, if I watch AD back in the day, I don't know. I think that's a big time question. I think the East isn't as deep as the West. I don't know. Maybe Milwaukee sneaks in.
still
I'm just
think
saying.
they
I
make the
truly
playoffs.
believe LeBron James is a pilot, Maria. He's looking at the landscape right now, and there's no Kawhi, no other skyscraper. And all he got to do is land safe. All he got to do is land safely. And the Lakers going to win the championship this year.
Yeah.
And I got social media on my phone. I've been 15 years old. Okay? I was in my mid-20s and acted 15. LeBron trying to get to the crib. So when you ask me about the Lakers, Lakers in 3. That's all I got to say from now on. Lakers in 3. But LeBron trying to get to the crib.
When he got up and said he was pissed, you just felt it for the Nuggets, didn't you? You were like, oh, I just feel bad for Denver. Okay, all right, let's talk about tonight's three-point performance presented by...
That's what pissed me off more than anything. Not saying that, the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP. But that pissed me off. And I finished second a lot in my career, either from a championship and now 4 times as an MVP. It's just a weird thing sometimes that I don't know how much we are really watching the game of basketball, or are we just in the narration mode, the narrative.
NBA analyst David Fizdale really watches the game of basketball, and he's with us on SportsCenter. And, Coach, you were an assistant there in Miami on that staff when LeBron was there. You know how he operates. So when you hear him say this about this award, you think what?
Uh-oh. I'm like, he's about to go off. He just, for whatever reason, in my time of knowing him, he does not deal with slights well. He turns slights into attack mode. After we lost to Dallas, that next year he came back with a vengeance. I remember, just think about when Draymond Green called him something out of his name during those finals when they were down 3-1, and how that woke him up. He just turns into a monster when he feels like he's not getting respected. And not just Denver, but watch out, everybody, because he's about to turn it up to another level.
Was this a slight, though? I mean, I understand the vote wasn't close, but how much of a slight was this really when you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, to us, who knows? To the people, some people may think Giannis was the guy and he should have been the MVP outright and all of this stuff. But to LeBron, it's a slight. And if in his mind it's a slight, then he's going to take that out on the team in front of him. And I just expect him to really crank it up. And you can even see the Laker team really played with a chip on their shoulder collectively and went out and really got after Denver. But it's going to be a long series, obviously, because Denver doesn't lay down.
That's just it. It doesn't matter what we think. It matters what he thinks. And LeBron is the MVP runner-up for the 4th time in his career. Meanwhile, in the East, chip right here, here's how the star of an eliminated team in the Eastern Conference had an impact on the Western Conference Finals. Giannis Antetokounmpo won his 2nd straight MVP award Friday, and that served as more motivation for LeBron James. There were 101 total votes here. Giannis got 85 first-place votes. LeBron got the other 16. So it wasn't that LeBron lost this award. It was how he lost.
Pissed me off. That's my true answer. It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. Not saying that the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP, but that pissed me off. And I finished second a lot in my career, either from a championship and now 4 times as an MVP. It's a weird thing sometimes that I don't know how much we are really watching the game of basketball, or are we just in the narration mode, the narrative.
Narrator's voice. Giannis had the best PER in NBA history, and the Bucks had the best record in the regular season in the entire league. It's important to remember, though, this award was based on the games before the season stopped.
Yeah,
back
that is
in March.
important to remember.
Well, here now a look at what LeBron and Giannis' numbers look like. At that point, yeah, Bucks, best record in the league. LeBron, though, was pacing the league in assists. Giannis had the edge in scoring and rebounding, and for the entire season, the PER, as we say, the highest in NBA history. Next hour on SportsCenter, though, LeBron's former coach is going to join us with what he makes of King James's case for MVP, for maybe preferring that the NBA make the MVP announcement after this series, because LeBron James was motivated in Game 1, and not just because he lost to Giannis Antetokounmpo, but because of how he lost. He breaks down, LeBron does, the vote in particular. This man is aware of the numbers. Listen.
Pissed me off. That's my true answer. It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. Not saying that the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP, but that pissed me off. And I finished second a lot in my career. Either from a championship and now 4 times as an MVP. It's just a weird thing sometimes that I don't know how much we are really watching the game of basketball, or are we just in the narration mode, the narrative.
Okay, the narrative here's where LeBron has a case. Before play stopped in March, and that's what the MVP was based on, pre-stoppage here. So anything that happened in the bubble didn't factor into the MVP race. Giannis topped LeBron in points and rebounds per game. However, James was the far better distributor of the basketball. Probably didn't help, though, the Kings' case it is, that the Bucks record was on a historic pace.
Giannis was also defensive.